Write a C++ program to calculate square and cube of given integer using hierarchical inheritance. Here also same hierarchical inheritance. Header files ash include iostream, ash include conio.h. In the base class I'll read a value for integer, and I'll take two derived classes. One is square and the other one is cube. A square class has to calculate square of a given number and cube has to calculate cube of a given number. Instead of taking two variables in each class, I have taken that variable and I'll read data in the base class so that these two classes can make use of that existing data. Class base. In the protected section, I'll take data member int n, public void input cout, enter an integer, cin extraction n, next I'll take a derived class square colon. In the public section, public mode, the base class name is base. Here I will not declare any variable to calculate to read a data because already we have taken in the base class. These properties are inherited to derived class. I'll make use of this value here. In the public section, I'll calculate void cal cout enter cout insertion square of n is n star n. Class close. You can give this example for hierarchical inheritance. Class cube colon public base. In the public section, I'll take a function void. Here I'll take calculation open flat bracket now cout insertion cube of n is, here I am not storing that result in any data member, directly I will calculate and display on the screen n star n star n. Close, function close, class close. Let us call these functions from main function. Void main. So, to which class I should create object? To calculate square, I have to create object for square class, and to calculate cube, I must create object for cube. Square, yes. Name of the object is yes here. Yes dot cal semicolon. Now cube. So before going to call calculation cal function, we must call input function yes dot input. After that yes dot cal. See what happens when you create object, there would be memory allocation for the data member, but the square class, it doesn't contain its own data member. What are the data members are inherited to derived class? This data member, that is n. N is inherited to protected section of derived class. So there would be memory allocation for n. So when you create object yes, the data member n will be allocated. Using this function, we shall read value, enter an integer, that value goes to n. If I take 3, the 3 will be stored in n. Now I have to calculate cube of a given integer, so I must call yes dot calculate open close semicolon, then get ch function close. Okay, what happened? Whenever we create object for square, sorry, I must create another object, no? Here. Rect cube, sorry, name of the class is cube. Cube C. Here also the data member will be inherited to cube, class cube. So class cube protected section contains n, that is a base class data member. Then what is there? N. This object gets the value 3. Now I have to call that function, same function, through this object r dot input. I want to give a separate value for this. Already we have given value for n, that n value will be inherited to the derived class, so 3 will be there. Okay, now I want to overwrite this value. I'll take 2. So r dot calculation open close semicolon function close. So yes dot input, which function will be invoked? This function, enter an integer, so value will be stored in n. To which object? Yes object. Now cal function, yes dot cal function. What is there in the cal function? Square of n. What is the value of n? 3. Square of 3 is 3 3s are 9. It will be displayed. So base class n is inherited to derived class. So the protected member of derived class is accessed through this function. Now I will take another object for cube. Cube C. C dot input. Again I will give different value to calculate cube of a number, or you can make use of the same value what is there in the n. So n is a data member, we have already given the value, no? That n value is inherited to derived class, or you can change the value. Right now I will take n value is 2. C dot calculation, so 2 star 2 star 2, it gives 8. So in this way we can implement this problem statement using hierarchical inheritance. If they ask the same question using multi-level inheritance, how to implement? I will show you. Instead of hierarchical, multi-level. multi-level inheritance. See here, this is a base class and the things are same here. I'll take square as a derived class which is derived from the base class. Now I'll take a data member here, int result. I'll take result, res. Now the function is cal. Here I'll calculate res is equal to n star n. I'll take another function here, void disp, to display the result. Cout square of, I want to display n value, so I must write like this, n is res semicolon. Okay, now I hope you are understanding. I am changing the previous program to multi-level inheritance. Now class cube. So now class cube has to derive from class square because it is a multi-level inheritance. You all know multi-level inheritance, a class which is derived from another derived class. This is class base and it is class square. Now class cube. The properties of base class are inherited to square class, and properties of square class are inherited to cube class. Class cube colon, I'll take a mode of inheritance is public. Now the base class is square, open flat bracket. In the protected section, I'll take a data member to store cube of a given integer. Int, here I'll take result as a data member here. Now in the public section, let us write a function void. Here I had taken cal function in the base class, so it's base class, so I'll change the function name. So I'll show you later how to take same function name in both classes, both in base class and derived class, and how to access. So in this example, I'll take a different name, calculation, name of the function calculation. I can write like this, result is equal to I can write like this, I'll return a value here, return res. In this way I can implement here. Result is equal to cal of cal function star n. Later I'll display using a function see how I have implemented here. I'll explain. I have taken base class, and this base class meant for getting value of this data member. Enter an integer, the value will be stored in n. I'll use this value in these two classes. This class to calculate square of a given number. So in the protected section I have taken data member res to store the result, and I made this function, it has to return a value. So this is function with no argument with return value. That cal function can access a protected data. What is there in the protected section? Base class n and derived class res. So the protected section of square class having two data members, one is n, another one is res. Now the public member, this class member can access the protected data of that class. Res is equal to n into n, so that is square. I am returning this value, return res. Okay, which function is invoking this function? To that function this value will be returned. If I call this, if I invoke this function from main function, this value will be returned to main function. Understood? Now display function, or it is not required here because I am returning a value now, or if you want to write you can take. Or I'll let it same void disp cout square of n is res. Okay, I'll close the class. I let the same what is there before. Now class cube, another class. This class is derived from class square. This is a base class. In the protected section I have taken result as a data member to store cube of a number. So instead of writing n into n, I make use of this class, this function. Already we have calculated square of that value or that integer in this function, cal function. Okay, so I can call cal function. So the cal function will give square of a number. To that result I can multiply one more n value so that we will get cube of a number. In this way you can implement, or you can directly write n into n. Here I make use of this function, this cal function, which is already exist in the base class. Result is equal to cal function. See, that is function call with no argument with return value. This function, it returns a value. That's why I have written int here. What kind of value it returns? Integer type value it returns. So int cal, result is equal to n into n. N value, if I take n value is 3 into 3 3s are 9 will be stored in res. Then return res, where it has to return? From where I call this function to that function it returns a value. From where I am calling that function? From calculation function I am calling that function. Okay, so cal, it returns the value, that is 9. Again 9 into 3, 9 3s are 27. Then it gives the 27. Now I have to display the result here, or directly you can display here. I'll continue. Cout cube of n is res. Sorry, result. The full name I had taken, no, result. Function close, class close, semicolon. Now main function, void main. To which class I should create object? To the derived class, child class I should create object. Which is the derived class here? Cube. So cube, I'll take C. When we create object, see there is a memory allocation for data members. Now the protected member of a base class n, which is inherited to square class, again in turn it is inherited to cube class. Now cube class protected section having n, res and result. These three are the data members of cube. First I have to call input function to get value for n. C dot input first we have to enter value, no, that's why I have to invoke this function C dot input. Next I want to calculate square of a given integer. To perform that operation there is an instruction, this instruction is there in the cal function, I have to call this function. So this function returns a result. Either you can display result from here or from there itself. I'll take int r here to receive the result. R is equal to c dot cal open close semicolon. Okay, the cal function is invoking using objects, this class object cube object. Now the cal function will be invoked and result will be returned. That result is stored in R. So I'll comment it. You can comment these 4 lines. You can display from here also. See out square of, but we cannot write square of n is res from here. Simply we can write square is r, like that we can write, because n belongs to protected section. We cannot access protected member directly from the main function. That's why I have taken this function. See why I am taking this r, in order to match, there would be a match between function call and function definition. So this function, it is a function with argument, with no argument with return value. So there would be a matching function call. Cal function, there is no argument, but that function returns a value. To store result I have taken r. For that purpose I have taken r is equal to c dot cal. In this way I have implemented. We can implement this problem statement in a different way. Okay, I have taken this method. Why I have taken this return value? To make use of, to use that function in the subclass. That's why I am returning a value here. Now either you can display the result from here or from this function. Now I have to call which function? Calculation function. R c dot calculation. Result is equal to cal of what is there. So again it calculates cal function. Cal function returns the result. Okay. If n is equal to 3, 3 3s are 9, 9 will be written here. Again one more n, 9 3s are 27. It will be written and it is displayed from the sub function itself. If you don't want to return result, then in what way you can implement? I don't want to return result. Okay, I want to display from this class and I have to make use of this function in the subclass. Then how to write? We can write like this. I can take a local variable here. I hope you are understanding. I am using cal function in this function. Okay, so this function returns a result. That result I need here. Because already there is a function to calculate the square of a number. Why should I again write the same code here, n into n? Already it is there, so I can use this function. To do this, I am returning a value to this function. Now, instead of returning a result, how can we make use of this function in the subclass? I'll show you. I'll write void. This function doesn't return any value. Here I'll take void calculation. See, I'll take a local variable here int t. I'll take temporary variable. T is equal to okay, or you can write like this. RES is there, no? result is equal to res into n. See here, when I create object for class cube, memory allocation will be takes place. C dot input, so n, what is the value of n? If I take n value is 2, I'll take 2. Okay, that n, the property of n, the value of n will be inherited to these two classes, because protected members are inherited to derived class. So n goes to protected section of the square and also protected section of the cube. So finally I have created object for this class, so I can access the data member through the object of this class. The protected section contains n, res and result. Now n got the value 2. Next I call C dot input over now, C dot cal. Now cal function will be invoked. Res is equal to n into n. Okay, so n star n, what is the value of n? 2, 2 star 2, 4. 4 will be stored in res already. C n res result. Okay, what is there in n? 2 is there. Res now 4. Result not yet calculated. Then C dot calculation. So this function will be invoked. Result is equal to res into n. What is there in res? 4 is there. 4 into n. What is there in n? 2. 4 into 2, 8. So the cube of 2 is 8, no? Get ch. Close. Now the result contains 8. The given number is 2 and square of that number is 4. Cube of that number is 8. In this way you can implement this program, this problem statement in the multi-level inheritance. Understood? Now let us know how to invoke a function. Its name is same in base class and derived class. If I take two functions by the same name in base class and derived class, how to execute without error? See, let us consider an example. Example on function overriding. We call it as function overriding. Function overriding. Okay. Now header file ash include iostream, ash include conio.h. Class super, I'll take a class name is super, base class name. So in the public section I'll take a function void scan. I'll take name of the function is scan here. Cout insertion super is a base class. Base class. Next, one more class, that is a derived class. Class sub colon base class. In the visibility mode is public mode. Super open flower bracket, in the public section, void. Here I will take the same function name, scan, because this concept is about function overriding. Don't get confused with function overloading and function overriding. Function overloading, that is a different thing, that is a different chapter only. Okay, function overriding means if base class and derived class having functions with the same name, by the same name, then how to invoke that function without having error. Okay, that is the concept here. Void scan, cout. Sorry, I take print as a function because I am printing the statement. No, I am not reading anything here. Print cout insertion. This is or sub is derived class of super. Class close, function close, class close. Now void main. See, when I create object for derived class sub, yes, there is an object called yes. I did not take any data member here, but member functions are there. There is a separate memory allocation for member functions. So two member functions, print and print, isn't it? See, the public members are inherited to public section of the derived class. So the public section of subclass having two member functions, and these two functions are having same name, print and print. When I call print function, right now I want to execute this print function. I'll write like this, yes dot print. Then there is an ambiguity, which print function it has to execute, isn't it? So to avoid that, we must use a class name and scope resolution operator here. You all know how to access member function of a class, object and dot operator, then function name. Here, what are the things you need to add? Object name and dot operator. Instead of writing directly function name, you must use class name, which class print you have to call. Base class, that is super. Scope resolution, and what is the function name? Print. Understood? I am calling super class function name here. Now I want to execute this print. So yes dot sub scope resolution print. This is the way to call function from the non-member function. If I want to call this print function from this print function, we all know one member function can access another member function. In the class and objects chapter, characteristics of member function. A member function can be called from another member function of a class without using object and dot operator. A non-member function has to call if non-member function want to access a member function, it must use object and dot operator. That's what we have discussed here. Main is a non-member function. Now from main function I am calling print functions. That's why I must use object name and dot operator. Here both functions having same name. So in order to resolve that problem, I have taken class name and scope resolution operator. Now I want to call this function from print function. So first I want to call this print function, subclass print function. So I must write like this, yes dot sub of this. When control enters here, I want to call this function print function. Here we should not use object and dot operator, but we must use class name and scope resolution. Super scope resolution print. So then it executes this print function, later this print function. In this way we can override functions. Understood? Next question. Explain hybrid inheritance with different visibility modes, with having different visibility modes. See, you all know hybrid inheritance. It is a mixture of different types of inheritances. So I can take a typical example here. Header files. To make you understand, I'll take simple program. See, and having different visibility modes. I should not derive all classes in the same visibility mode. I have to derive in a different mode. Class student in the protected section, I'll take student roll number int or student ID, SID I'll take. In the public section, I'll read this void input. Because of this function overriding, we can use the same name so that it is easy to remember the function name also. Now void cout, enter SID, student ID, cin, extraction, SID. Now I'll close the class. So in the pictorial representation I'll show you first. This is a base class called a student. This is college and this is address. And one more class, details I'll take. Understood? See, college and address are the derived classes of student, so it implements hierarchical inheritance. And when you consider this, it is a multi-level inheritance, so it implements a hybrid inheritance. So student ID, it will be stored in a SID, and I'll take college class here. Class college colon public. I'll inherit this class in a public mode. Base class name is student. Open flat bracket. In the protected section, I'll take data member, college name. I'll take only one data member here to make it simple. Char C name, that is college name. It would be a string, so I must take character array here. Now in the public section, public void Scan, I'll take name of the function. Cout, enter college name. Instead of student ID, I'll take student name. Yes name I'll take. Char, yes name. Yes name as a string, I'll take 20. Here also, yes name. College name. C in extraction, C name. Close. Now address, class, address, colon. So I'll change the mode here. Here I taken public mode. Here I'll take a protected mode. Protected. Now base class is student. In the protected section, I will take city name, char, city name, you cannot give same name for the data members here. If you take C name, already we have taken C name here. But there is no ambiguity if I take C name here, still I'll take different name. Public, void, read, I'll take name of the function is void read. Cout, enter city name. C in extraction, C name. Sorry, city name I have taken. Full name is there, city name. Close, class close. Now one more class which is derived from class college. So there is a class called detail. Class details. I'll inherit this class in a private mode so that I have shown different modes here, public mode, protected mode and private mode here. Private and base class name is college. Here I won't take any data member. Just I'll mention protected, public. Now see here, detail is a derived subclass, final class it is. No? So this detail class inherits the properties of college, again it inherits the properties of student. Address inherits the properties of student. Now I want to access the members of each class. First I would like to call input function, enter yes name and I have to input value. How to call this function? So this belongs to the public section of base class student. This function is inherited to college class, that too in a public section, isn't it? Now the college class public section having two functions, one is scan function, another one is input function. Understood? The class college protected section having what is that, college name and also student name, this protected section, and the public section having scan function and input function. Now class address, which is also derived from class student. Right now I'll leave this part, I'll come to here. So I'm concentrating this path, student, college and details. Student is a base class, college is a subclass of student and detail is a subclass of college. Now detail class, which is inherited in the private mode. You all know in private mode what happens? Base class public and protected members are inherited to private section of the derived class. So in the private section, I did not mention access specifier. Okay, I'll write here private. So the private section having public and protected members of its base class. Which is the base class of details? College is the base class. What is there in the college protected section? City name, college name and yes name, student name, college name, and functions, scan function, input function, these are all inherited to private section of the derived class. Okay, so because this class is inherited in a private mode, so I don't want this protected mode here. In the private mode I am inheriting, I repeat the things. Listen carefully here. Base class, protected members and public members are inherited to derived class. You all know this concept. Where it has to go, that is depends on visibility mode. So college class is inherited in public mode. So base class public members and protected members are inherited to respective section. Now the college class protected section having college name and student name, and this class public section having scan function and input function. Now the college class again is inherited to another class or detail which is inherited from college class, that in the private mode. So private, when the mode of inheritance is private, base class protected and public members are goes to private section. Now the private section of detail class having C name, yes name, input function and scan function. These four members are there in the private section of the derived class. Understood? Then now those members are inherited to private section of the derived class. Now how to access a private member? We all know the rule. Private members are accessed through the member function of that class. First I must write a function here, void print I'll write. Through this function I have to invoke these functions. I have to write input function here. I have to call input function from this function. After that I have to call scan function. Scan. Then I want to display the contents, that is college name and student name. Cout student name, yes name, Cout insertion, college name, C name. See, I must use a \n here. Then print function close, class close. I'll write a main function here, void main. Now I'll create object for details class, details, D. I'll call d.print. I'll call this function. See here, D is an object of detail class. Through the object of this class, I'll call the member function print. It belongs to public section. So that print function, inside the print function, I'm calling two functions. One is input function and another is scan function. How can we call these functions? Input function is there in the private section and scan function also there in the private section of the derived class, so that I can call. And the private members are accessed through the member function, so it will be displayed. Now I have to display address. Address belongs to address class, so I have to create object for class address. Address, I'll take A. So this is address class and it is derived from class student, the protected mode of inheritance. The protected members of class student will be inherited to protected section of the derived class. So the protected section of address class having student name and city name. I have already taken student name here, so I can display only city name. I have to read city name, so I must call read function. A dot read. and I have to display from here. Void, sorry, cout insertion city city. When you call read function, it reads city and it display city. To display formatted output, I want to display for student name, then college name, then city name. Then you have to call the functions in this order. First I want to call this function, print function. So the print function will call these two functions. I have to write these two statements in another function to write a formatted output. So in that way we can give a formatted output, or you can follow this method. First it display student name, college name, and later it display city name. So in this example I have explained hybrid inheritance in a different mode of inheritances. See, the college class is inherited from student class in a public mode. Detailed class inherited from college in a private mode. Address which is inherited from student in a protected mode. In this way we can implement this concept. I hope you understood this class, this hybrid inheritance and variety of programs we discussed on these chapters, and some more you can try yourself some more problems which is there in the material. I'll give that. I hope you understood inheritance chapter. What are the things we covered in this chapter? Definition, what is inheritance, what is base class, what is derived class, how to derive a class, types of inheritance, mode of inheritance, then constructors and destructors in inheritance, virtual base class, abstract class, then function overriding, and different problem statements on different types of inheritance and different mode of inheritance. So I hope you understood these concepts. Thank you.